Okay, hello. Wow, the latency of Twitch is very interesting right now. Okay, I've started everything. I've even started the recording. I didn't forget it this time. Just at the beginning, the recording of the last stream of that like test stream or whatever is I have rendered it like yesterday or something for upload as a VOD. I'm still not entirely sure. Of course, you can still, if you just want to see the content, you can still watch the VOD on. If you don't care about the quality, you can still watch the VOD on Twitch. It will be online for the next few days. After that, I think it will just go on the chrissx channel, and there it will remain. And I'll like make a playlist on the Pixel Engineering YouTube channel for VODs. We do have a lot of things to cover today. It's the first. Yeah. I'm getting notifications from fucking Instagram, where I posted about this too. With the last stream, the kind of test stream, I kind of forgot to post everywhere. This time I posted everywhere. I posted it on Twitter. I posted it on the Fediverse, so my Mastodon account. I posted it on Discord, and I posted it on Instagram. I fucking hate the way my hair does that. I think I can't keep it like this. I think I will just have to yeah, it will just have to be back, because yeah. So this time I posted the stream everywhere, so everyone like has taken note, which is which is always an upside. And yeah, I guess we will start right into the matter, or whatever kind of English that was. I don't know whether you can read this clearly. Let's start off with a bit of our Matrix chat, because I mean, that's public and I will just look through it. Oh no, first I think I need to say one more thing. I wanted to say, you can see I'm wearing Peso clothing. I'm not wearing my Hacktoberfest t-shirt, although I do own two. There's a reason for that. I don't want to say I boycott Hacktoberfest, because that would feel kind of weird, because I mean I'm doing streams about it now. But I'm kind of boycotting it. I'm telling you explicitly, do not sign up for Hacktoberfest on that website. Let's just no. I will not be promoting the website. I might not even use any of their like logos or whatever, despite them like allowing it generally. Because I hate their decision in relation to like the t-shirts. It would have been possible for them at like, you have to pay $5 or 10 to get it shipped to you. Then they could have still provided t-shirts and spent less. They don't want to give you t-shirts. They just want to plant 50,000 trees. I mean, it's even capped at that. They just want to save money now, which is kind of sad. I mean, they're ruining Hacktoberfest with that. That's kind of like my boycotting thing. Don't sign up for it. Don't make a Holopin account because of it. Don't do anything. Just participate, but don't participate in the official thing. So, nonetheless, we do have a lot of work to do. So let's just quickly have a look at this. This is like something that happened previously. We do have plans to make platforms for FreeBSD, OpenBSD, NetBSD, whatever. And yeah, we were kind of discussing that. That will be, I think, an after Hacktoberfest thing, because right now it doesn't really matter too much. I asked whether we have some guidelines for using the logo of TLDR and the name. I didn't get an answer. I will just use the name, because I mean, it's not trademarked, it's fine. The logo I could probably get away with using, especially since I'm a co-owner of the project, but I won't, because nobody has really told me. Even like who is the author and who the copyright belongs to, I'm not entirely sure, because it was like created by multiple people who made different iterations and tried out different things. So like I will have to discuss those questions with the others. But let's look at this first thing here. Hi, what do you guys think about the situation at this pull request? We will be looking at this pull request. Seth Falco replied to that, and yeah, there was a bunch of talk about it. There are a few lessons we can learn here. Yeah. The contributor had an interesting way of communicating with free and open source projects. I will go into that right after reading this out. Yeah. Calling other contributions, ideas terrible and saying things need to be fixed ASAP isn't the culture I want to foster except in open source. I think the first half, I have had different takes at different times in my life on this. I'm not entirely sure still. The second part, need to be fixed ASAP, then fix it. It's open source. Calling contributions terrible, I might do this in live streams. I will not do it in text because it's kind of rude. Yeah, and that using that kappa here is like, it doesn't even fit because Linus Torvalds kind of disagrees, actually, but yeah. Much confrontation. I don't want to read through this whole thing again. I think I read like half of it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Labeling notifications would be really helpful. I also always have like 100 or something tabs open with GitHub things. So yeah, I have a similar problem. I still have merged PRs or closed PRs or etc. Often. Oh fuck me. I still have merged PRs, closed PRs, etc. open in my Safari, and sometimes get back to them to like either fix things that weren't fixed before they were merged, or to make a new PR that is kind of a continuation of the old one, etc. etc. Something with partial alias pages, I don't know. I will have to look at that later. Yeah. And there, I also already got a notification for this. I will have a look at this later. So that's kind of going over our metrics chat room. No interesting zip files being shared this time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should look at my Twitter. So, I will zoom in a bit so you can all read this somewhat clearly, I hope. I know I'm streaming in 720p. I might want to change that actually. For like content like this that isn't gaming, it makes a lot of sense to stream in 1440p 60 FPS, even though I only have like 3 megabits of band. I could try to get like 4 or 5, but that would be really yeah, there we could just be running into some bandwidth limit and then get problems. This is an interesting PR. This adds a page, very simple TLDR PR. It's also a rather simple PR. A very simple page, that's what I should rather say. But it has its interesting caveats because there was a lot of discussion. So that was last week, actually. That was on 25th of September. Okay. Yeah, that was a while ago, before Hacktoberfest, for sure. And you can't see the approvals, but I could put myself to the bottom right, actually. That might be a better place. Still not a bottom. May I point that out? So yeah, let's have a look at this. they wrote the page, they got a bunch of errors. Description should start with a capital letter. What was the original commit? Yeah, here. Yeah, and here we already can see our problem. They wrapped the description at, I believe this is column 80. I can't see it in the GitHub thing, but this is column 80. And they wrapped it. They had a rather long description. They wrapped it at column 80. And they didn't capitalize this or didn't capitalize this. This shouldn't be capitalized. This should probably, this should be phrased differently, and otherwise this should be in backticks, so it doesn't matter. And it should be wrapped here, IMO. So that would be the simple fix. Yeah. Then they wrote a comment that I'm not too sure about. This is awkward. Your TLDR bot is enforcing things that are not in the guideline. I just broke the line at 80 character mark and still am following the contribution guideline. That's not what it's called, but okay. Here are the reasons why all of these thrown errors are nonsensical. TLDR003, descriptions should start with a capital letter. The name of the command is hwinfo. Why should I capitalize the name? Yes, I can change it to this software, but that is just rambling and at zero value and clarity. I already have a response to this. There has been precedent at TLDR. I don't know whether I will be able to find it. Maybe like this. I don't know. No, I can't. I'm pretty sure I know the author. I'm pretty sure I remember who the author is. I think it was Lena. So maybe let's have a look at her PRs. Maybe we can find what we're searching for in this manner. Yeah. Yeah, this right here. Yeah, we have set a precedent that phrases like a command line tool for using the CLI, a CLI2, those kind of phrases, yeah, we don't do those, and so this software is also not something we do. We also don't really put the name at the start of the description. What we rather do is just describe what it does. So in the case of hwinfo, it would be probe for hardware present in the system. That would be what it is. That is just rambling and at zero value and clarity. I agree, and we as a project agree, and that's why we changed it. Again, the PR I just showed you from Lena. Command description should end in a period. It does not end with a full stop because it's in the middle of the sentence, yes. But that's something maybe we should put in the style guide. We have a lot of informal rules that aren't in the style guide. That's maybe something that should be corrected long term. I have thought about putting some things in the style guide that aren't there previously, because that's really an example of a rule that maybe should be in the style guide. If you have multiple sentences, break at the end of one sentence, of one of the sentences, not at column 80. Yeah, so that's like, sure, but you should break it differently. You may not know that, but don't be angry at the linter. Description should start with a capital letter, same as the previous point. Yeah, sure. Actually not, because you broke in the middle of a sentence, and that's, or as a do they mean this point or do they mean this point? I'm pretty sure they mean this, so that makes sense. That is actually correct. I will change it, but these surprises are not in the guideline is nauseating when it happens. I'm not sure. I'm also not sure whether that is correctly spelled. Also, the it is missing here. There are a lot of grammatical errors. Please don't angrily type something and then even mess up the grammar and stuff. These nonsensical checks are a surprise. Well, nonsensical, again, it's not nonsensical if you understand it. You should be extra transparent about this up front. What do you mean? Like, transparent, you can read the code. That's not transparency, that's just like not having the best documentation. Sometimes we're an open source project, we don't have the best documentation. I've invested time and efforts in improving the TLDR database and helping others, but why should I have to put up with all these hiccups that are creeping out of nowhere? Bro, like, I'm sorry, but you invested maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10, maybe even 15 minutes of your time into writing a page, and now it's telling you to fix some things that take you another minute to fix. Typing out this comment probably took you 5 times as long as that. Seriously. Like, I don't know, calm down. These for sure have left a bad impression and will affect my view about contributing to this project in the future. Okay, sure. Transparency is a big key factor in flaws and these out of nowhere. Again, transparency, you can read the linter. I think we even have like a documentation for the linter that has like all the arrows, doesn't it? Yeah. Here you can see what all the errors are. Like, what do you mean transparency? If you're supposed to, the contributor guide or whatever mentions that, you're supposed to check with the linter before opening the PR, although almost nobody does that. 2, they're right here. A description of every error you can encounter is right here. Those are all the errors that we automatically check for. Everything else is up to like manually checking whether everything makes sense, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. Short and snappy description, yeah. That is a bit verbose. I will also say that it is used to why it is used to that phrase is unnecessary. Probe for the hardware present in the system. We have pre-established that that's what our descriptions tend to look like. That it's not in the style guide again, but that's a short way to phrase it, and that's not doesn't include the unnecessary phrases like the software. It can be used to generate a system overview log, which can be later used for support. You can leave that out. And otherwise, yeah, sure, you can write that, but you can also not. Yeah, network device, I'm not too sure about whether it's about the network or about the network devices, I'm not sure. Yeah, typos, come on. We're in 2023 right now, and we still have typos to deal with, okay. That's not even like, that I don't mean that is an offense to the contributor, I mean that is an offense to everyone who was involved in creating their text editor to a file. That's a good suggestion. Thanks for the suggestion. I disagree with the comment about description. I think the description is not terrible and does not make sense. What do you mean it's now terrible and doesn't make sense? It can be used to probe for the hardware present in the system. Probe for the hardware present in the system. This is what you wrote. If you want to call this description terrible and does not make sense, then you have to call your own description terrible and does not make sense, because the first line of your description is the new description. It just leaves out this, which the maintainer manager, I actually do not remember who that is, they joined fairly recently, just deemed unnecessary. that's like you can't say this. That doesn't make sense. It's your description. They just left out the second half because they thought it was unnecessary, which I'm not sure whether I agree, but it's definitely a viewpoint that can make sense. Anyways, the lack of transparency. Again, lack of transparency. You can read it. It's still a big thing. Due to this TLDR bot, you are supposed, as by our country, I will get this up right now. This is low-key making me angry because it is in our, I'm not even sure which. Maintainer's Guide, probably not, because that's Style Guide. I'm not sure whether it's in the style. Yes, it is. Look. Style Guide. Layout. This is what a page should look like. This is an example of a page. There's a linter that enforces the format above. It is run automatically on every pull request, but you may install it to test your contributions locally before submitting them. npm install global TLDR lint. TLDR lint path to TLDR page.md. What do you mean there's no transparency? There's a linter, it is run automatically. What do you mean? The style guide, which you maybe should have read before contributing, does mention this. Also, this is the bot. This is what the bot looks like. You can read the code. It's right here. If you want to know how the bot works, you can read this and figure it out. What do you mean there is no transparency? The linter errors are clearly documented. The fact that you're supposed to run the linter beforehand, or that you it uses, I would say you're supposed to, this you may, so okay, you cannot, but you may choose to, you need not run it, okay, sure, but it is documented here that there is a linter. It is run automatically. Everything we do is open source. So what do you mean there's no transparency? There's even a list of all the linter errors. No. Transparency is not a big thing. The TLDR bot, it is open source, it is on our GitHub org, and it is clearly documented right here that it is run, and you may use the linter to check for yourself whether your PR will have any issues. So what do you mean by this? Perhaps we need to do something about this ASAP. What do you want to suggest we do? Seriously. Yeah, here manager again suggested something. Yeah, we put the help at the end. That's something that we do. Also see other types of hardware items. That is not what we call it. Okay. That's for example what these help option examples are called. That's something, I don't think it's in the style guide. You could have checked a few other pages and you would know it, but that's not something you need to know. That's okay if you don't know that. But if you see things to correct in the guidelines over the bot, please open an issue in a tracker so that it's not forgotten after this PR closes. Yeah. Yeah, we don't follow the conventional 80 character limit. Our pages allow descriptions with up to 250 characters. Do we have that anywhere? I've never heard of that. That might be possible, but I've never heard of any character limit that we have. I don't know. After which you will get a warning from the bot. Okay, I did not know of this. Don't do 250 characters, maybe. The clients wrap these characters according to the terminal size. Yeah. Might be in the client spec. I do not know that right now. I won't bother to look everything up. I will just, like, KBW Krishna is someone who I trust at TLDR. He does a lot of work, like the most of anyone. And his work tends to be very good, so I will just trust him on that. The name of the command is hwinfo. Why should I capitalize it? You shouldn't. If it's a command, you can use markdown backticks. I already said that. We encourage having a descriptive page description. That's why it encourages capitalization. I'm sorry, that's kind of nonsense. We encourage having a descriptive description. Yeah, sure. That's why, like, capitalization, how does that describe? I think I get what he means there. I think he means, like, don't put the command name in there, put a clear sentence that says what it does. But that statement is kind of nonsensical. No offense, though. It does not end with a full stop because it is in the middle of the sentence. Yeah, you can write the sentence continuously. Yeah. Subsequent, I wasn't aware of whether that is true. In general, just, can I show my terminal? I guess maybe I should not have. I shouldn't have shown my terminal right now, but I don't care. If we look at TLDR tar, as our kind of defect. Oh no, let's look at something that this contributor doesn't know about. This right here. If you look at this, you see one description. That is I'm using TLDR. You can see here one description line, more information line. It's just usually rendered like that. And if it's one sentence, it should be on one line, I think. And I think that's what we do. Information about lining and TLDR lint is available in the style guide, which is already mentioned in the contributors guide. Yes. Yes, I just showed you. I highly appreciate you spending time to improve TLDR. Yes, I won't disagree with that. Information about the layout and other rules are indeed documented in a generalized manner on the style guide, and TLDR bot just runs TLDR lint, which you can run locally that's I wouldn't phrase it like that because it's kind of a hard to read sentence, and I'm not sure whether like a native speaker would say that, but yeah, you can run TLDR lint locally to test the changes. Yeah, I would suggest checking out similar pages when you stumble on an error that would have you resolved most of the time. If you need additional assistance with your PRs, feel free to ask us in the chat room. Yeah, very nice answer actually to that part. Yeah. The lack of transparency, again, there's not a lack of transparency. I already said that. TLDR bot's addition was done in the public discussions on both GitHub and the chat room with acknowledgement from other maintainers and the community. It was added after your last contribution. That's why it might be new to you, but TLDR lint was present before too. Yeah, very good long form answer. Don't disagree with that. Yeah. Sure, that's a good suggestion. Merge it himself. Yeah. Oh god, I read the first sentence and I'm already, bro, calm down. What's wrong with you? Like, this is ridiculous. I made a PR, then the bot started some baseless nonsense. I'm sometimes not sure whether I'm reading this correctly, but I think I am. I made a PR, then the bot started some baseless nonsense, and ultimately you butchered the PR. What? Why on earth did you change the URL? The TLDR documentation states I think that's supposed to say and. The original repo of the software contained way more information than it meant that org changed it to. Why did you even change my PR when it is in accordance with your guidelines? It seems you yourself don't know your own guidelines. Yes, sure, we don't know the guidelines. But you missed something that's in there, and sure. Preposterous. I don't even know what this word means, and I won't look it up. Shut up. At least you could write your reasoning rather than forcing your opinion without any explanation. What do you mean? You mean this explanation? This was a really good explanation of all the points, basically. Where was it? Yeah, here, that Got more information change suggested by Lina. The man page is more informative. I'm actually not sure. I will have to look that up, whether I agree or not. Yeah. Yeah, this is, for the command line tool, this is rather bad documentation. Because if you look at this, like, no, that's not good. That's not good documentation for... this is better. It's just the man page. You can read all the options. There's an obvious answer to this. This is a bad change. The official repo is way more reliable than a third party. Man.org is what TLDR runs on for man pages. Man.org is reliable. Also, according to rules of contributions of TLDR, the official repo is a valid link. Yeah, but the official repo, that's the problem. The official repo doesn't really contain any information about the CLI. And if there is some upstream man page right here, but the problem is I don't really see it. I see the doc. So if GitHub was capable of rendering man pages, which I hope at some point they might figure out, this would be the correct link. But unfortunately, nobody at GitHub has ever had the bright idea to implement a man page renderer. So we can't look at it. I think that's like enough reasoning, IMO. Yeah, there have been TLDR pages with like decisions both ways. This is like, this describes what changes, this describes what it does, and it's the same probably as another command before. And the part that changed. We have done it both ways. We tend to do, like, describe everything again. But for example, I started writing a few new pages recently. Still a draft PR. And there I did it without spelling everything out again. Yeah, I think we prefer spaces, I don't remember. So all of this is like fine, I would say. Correct me if I'm wrong, but to me the author's documentation page doesn't contain much info on what options can be used with the program, only a cursory look at what it can do. Yes. The TLDR guidelines doesn't specify that the URL should contain the content of the man page. That is not what fellow maintainer manager said. They said it's about whether it contains info on what options can be used with the program. That is the question. What constitutes a good more information link is a question of whether it has info on what options you can use, how the CLI works. And yeah, it's it states linking to the author's provided. Yeah, again. I already read something from the next paragraph, and I'm sorry, but I'm gonna laugh at this person. I try to stay professional even on stream, as I'm like low-key rapping TLDR, but also I might make some comments that are not nice, because this at this point it starts to feel like the person might be trolling, but I will read it out. Yeah, what should the more information link be? Does it say it in here? Yeah. Okay, this is kind of phrased badly and we should rephrase it. On the more information line, prefer linking to the author's provided documentation. When not available, use man.org as the default fallback. This is badly written, because we don't want the author's provided documentation when it's bad or when it's like incomplete. And then man.org is our default fallback. Also, we have other fallbacks for some platforms. For example, for macOS or OS X, as it's still called, we tend to use either SS64 or a certain GitHub project from a certain GitHub user, or like others. Or Man7 maybe? No, I don't think. We use other man page viewers for macOS. That said, by doing these changes without explanation and justification, you violate the project governance principles. Sure, they did. The man page is more informative. Without explanation or justification. That was explanation and justification enough. No, that I'm not sure what our project governance says about that. Maybe you should say which clause you're referring to. You're not being respectful and cordial. Lol. That's like somewhat nonsensical. Oh, I should have read on. I'm sorry. Principle 2 states, avoid making assumptions about the other's intentions and make your... Yeah, they made their intentions clear. Lina, in this case, made her intentions clear. Avoid making assumptions about the other's intentions. Oh, I did just make that. I said they might be trolling. I don't know, but sometimes seems like it. When in doubt, provide additional context or ask for clarification. Yeah. Oh, wow. Jonathan is now in the stream. That's great. Good afternoon. Also in CEST time zone. And yet you don't provide any again, force your own preference. Sure? Did she do that? No, she didn't. Lina suggested this. KBW and Krishna merged it 4 days ago. This was last week. Like a few days later, he merged that. Probably because you didn't respond. Yeah, because you didn't respond in time. You didn't respond for a few days and then he just merged it. Yeah. The original text was on par with the... Again, it might have been, but that's because the contribution guidelines are not perfectly phrased. Principle 4 states, all interested members of the community are welcome to voice their thoughts. Yes, you just voiced your thoughts a lot. And incompatible positions will ideally be resolved with participants either agreeing with the final decision or voluntarily consenting to accept it. Yeah. Which was violated because the modification was forced to this. Yes! There was... Allowing some room for discussion. You didn't respond within a few days. There was no discussion, but there was room for discussion. You didn't respond within a few days. What are you talking about? I don't wanna assume your intentions. So this is a personal statement of mine that is not related to TLDR, but at this point it feels like this person is trolling. So, oh god, this thread still goes on for a little bit. This is like the first, like we might be talking about this for an hour when we're done, but that's good because I tend to not read those long threads. In this case, I do. That's kind of cool. Thanks for your honest feedback. We strive for... I would like to apologize for the whole... I would have not apologized for that. Wow. I didn't follow the intended duration to wait. Do we have a recommended duration? Because I remember something about the 12 hours before merging something, which we've also, like all of us, I believe, have violated. Oktoberfest starts tomorrow, and during the month of October we get hundreds of PRs. Yeah, actually we don't get as many these years as last year's, but we still get quite a few. I will ensure a similar case won't happen in the future. Yeah. I don't know, again, whether we have a duration to wait. It's not stated here, I don't remember. But it was a few days. Come on. You could have replied within a few days. Don't complain so loudly when you didn't respond within a few days. Addressing your feedback. It isn't going away anytime soon. That's clear. TLDR bot will stay. I agree. But bland, yeah, I guess. Case-by-case documentation might. Sure. Yeah. Oh god. This is like the longest comment anyone ever posted, I believe. Bro, you're insane. Yeah. Yeah. Once again, I apologize for applying the change without an explanation of why we did it. The documentation about more information links hasn't been updated in a while. Yeah. We generally prefer using the command line reference docs or man page in the information links as we target both technical and non-technical users. Yeah. Whatever. We reference the now that I look back, we can refer to, yeah, in this case, that I think would be the official source. OpenSUSE in this case would be the official source because it's an OpenSUSE project. That is correct. That is correct. Thanks for the suggestions. What does I disagree with the comment about that. Again, I still don't get. Addressing your initial comment again, we indeed prefer it's called mood in the, isn't it? Mode? I don't know actually what the correct term is in English. Yeah, we write everything imperative. We do suggest having a descriptive description. I think I get what he means there, but again, this is not the best way of phrasing it, maybe. But whatever. Some of the suggestions, like information undocumented, yeah, it's a case by case thing. Yeah, we have a lot of kind of I don't know how to say this properly, like just how we do some things some ways without it being like clearly documented. In this case, since the character description is small, I suggest, yeah. You even changed my PR when it is in accordance with your guidelines. It seems we know our guidelines. Like, trust me on that. Maintainers tend to know it better than you. And people wrote their reasoning. Are aware of the guidelines. Yeah, they are active contributors before becoming a maintainer, obviously. We do provide feedback and additional information. We do provide more information sometimes to new contributors than to existing contributors. That is also true. It will almost be impossible to force maintainers to provide information on each and every suggestion. Yeah. We don't always justify everything like to the last, I don't know, like fully justify everything completely. But we do justify things. And in this case, it was like done very in a very short way, I guess. It will almost be impossible to force maintainers to provide information on. Yeah. Oh, I already read that. Bad impression, sure. We strive to be transparent and blah. Yeah, I don't think I need to read through all of this. We want to get done with it. Update documentation link, yeah. I apologize for not thanking you for your contribution when merging. Yeah, okay. We all the time don't do this. I'm new to this. Yeah, they are actually. All contributions are valuable to us. I can't read anymore. This is too much. Like, I need to get to reviewing some PRs now because this is too much. The mentality I personally take to contributing is that I create a rough draft of the command and then the people who have... What? Mm-hmm. Okay, that is completely... The sentence is completely confusing me, but I think I get it. Okay. Yeah. Whatever. Just noticed this. This was deleted. Okay, cool. Does the Internet Archive have it, though? It might not. Nobody saved it. Thank you. Sorry for the flashbang. That's not cool. So I assume this was a comment about... Yeah, okay. They're from Finland. And so apparently they wrote something that sounds like it's about TLDR. I assume this account doesn't contain porn or something. Yeah, I think they just removed the post and didn't write anything else. That's also interesting. Cool. So yeah, but instead of making comments like this on other platforms as a fellow maintainer, which is suggest letting us know when you think we are wrong. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I have Kebidaron Krishna has noticed this apparently, because maybe otherwise he would have also pointed it out, but I have tweeted about TLDR, like TLDR, the things that happened in relation to TLDR sometimes. I have Twitter notifications, that's interesting. I won't look at them right now, because it could be like it could be anything, it's Twitter. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. This includes some... Is all of that like... Okay, yeah, all of that is fine. Look at this. I will be streaming. I wanted to do... Can I translate this? Wanted to do TLDR work, but now I have to write Discord messages with two bottoms at the same time. Well, top life. Oh, things about codes of conduct. An average day in the TLDR chat room. Yeah. Okay, this is also funny. Yeah, this. Okay, this, I think he saw that and liked it, if I remember correctly. That was some repost of something. Pro to use top grade, yeah, I still want to say that. Yeah, this is German specific, so you might not get it. I thought this was funny. Yeah, so like I've... Why is my Zoom gone now? Okay. Can I do it like... Oh, that's really close, but that looks good. So I have made comments about TLDR things on other platforms. Sometimes not the nicest comments, but I definitely agree with the spirit. If you think that there are big problems trying to talk to people, I know it's not always the thing you feel the most like doing, but please try to. So yeah, being formal in command line, you can tell the person learned tech with German Microsoft products. I can't tell, but yeah. Do they write their things like that? That sounds really interesting. I can't comment on that. I don't use German Microsoft products. I don't use anything in German, basically. German Microsoft translations are weird. Yeah, German translations are often weird. That's why I use everything in English. And just because it's kind of more sensical and I don't know. But yeah. Some people use Vim in German, and that is almost offensive to me. So yeah. So I wrote lengthy text giving constructive criticism. Well, that wasn't so constructive sometimes. You didn't address the violation of your own principles? What do you mean? You didn't even mention what actionable plan you have to mitigate the which issue? Which issue are you talking about? What the fuck, bro? And prevent it from happening again. After all, I played by the book, your book, and in return I got this mess. What mess? You complained? Some people suggested changes, the bot suggested changes and everything, and you complained that after a few days of you not responding, which is not, which was like below our usual threshold for when we do that. And I don't think we have a formal threshold, so it doesn't matter. A maintainer just merged suggested changes. What problem do you have? You said your documentation is outdated. Yeah, that is kind of true. You didn't provide context because I've contributed, and you said you have merged this PR and other in hurry due to Oktoberfest. Yeah, that is also true. We do have this Oktoberfest hurry thing. We did have it the last 2 years, where we just try to merge as many PRs as possible before Oktoberfest, so we kind of have a bit less to deal with. You feel offended? You're the only one offending anyone. I'm sorry. You violated your own rules? No, we didn't. Your own term? No, we neither. Like, I personally didn't do anything. This is directed at Kapitan Krishna or at Acute Envy or manager or whoever. Or the TLDR project as a whole. Nobody did, I think, violate the rules. You could argue. Terms, I don't know what you mean by that, and the principles definitely not. Because principles, I don't want to do a dictionary definition type thing, but I think principles is what a group of people believe, and we do believe in how that was handled. We did not violate our principles. Instead of covering up for others' mistake, take an action, make a step forward. Again, I do not want to violate the rule of don't assume others' intention. But this really feels to me like you wanna start a fight at TLDR. This is what it feels like. Because this... What are you outraged about? Some of us might be younger than you, and this doesn't make us immature. Who said that? I don't know. Yeah. Something about maturity. An apology doesn't make it water under the bridge. Yeah, then what else do you want? What actions are you... Which mistakes? Here are my suggestions. Okay, Let's discuss them. Fix that bot until to be 1-to-1 on par with your guidelines. That's actually okay, like these two need to be combined, I would say. So yes, the bot needs to enforce, and that is hard. Maybe you should also consider the fact that it's quite hard to implement everything that's in a style guide that is and TLDR is based on natural language, and you know maybe that natural language processing is kind of hard. So making TLDR lint, because the bot doesn't really have anything to do with that, it just uses TLDR lint, to be 1-to-1 on par with the guidelines, that doesn't work. Many of these things are like guesstimates and suggestions in the guidelines. You can't make that 1-to-1 on par. The linter doesn't lint many things that are in the guidelines. If it's not in the guidelines, it should not be enforced. That's actually something I can agree with. Everything that is enforced should be in the guidelines, yes. Tell people up front that any PR will go through some manual changes. I don't understand this point, actually. Tell people up front that any PR will go through some manual changes, and this doesn't mean that why would anyone need to tell anyone that? And what do you mean by that? Manual changes, yeah, when there's something in your PR where the linter can't determine it's maybe not even wrong, but just there's a better way maybe to do this in the opinion of the maintainers. The linter can't check for that, then we will suggest something. Yeah, that's how it works. That's how contributing to open source works. WTF. Be welcoming, accept slightly suboptimal PRs and then make a quick fix for it later. No, I explicitly, strongly disagree with that. We don't want to, by and large, accept slightly suboptimal PRs. No. We want, in that PR, to fully discuss every part of it to its end, and merge the PR when everything about it is up to our standards. I do not see any, I seriously do not see any upsides to doing it this way. No. Why would you merge a PR to then make another PR that fixes it? The only reason it would be better is because you don't need to wait for the original author to either discuss with them or for them to just make the change or whatever. That's the only advantage. No, I strongly disagree with this. The PR should be correct and then we can merge it. That is no. When suggesting a change, always write the reason. Yeah, we tend to do this. We might not, because sometimes it's just kind of obvious, especially when dealing with contributors that have contributed multiple times, etc. Past contributors, existing contributors, whatever, I don't know. This is because people tend to forget, yeah, your guidelines are not static and are subject, yeah, but you can... What do you mean no more excuses? That just feels, I don't know, passive-aggressive. Yeah, our guidelines are not static and subject to change. And why would I, as a maintainer, need to write the exact reasoning for something when it's in the guidelines? When it's in the guidelines, you should have checked beforehand, and you can check when I suggest something to you. This, no. For instance, one of you people here changed argument equals value to argument space value without realizing that these two can be parsed differently. Yes, it can be parsed differently. And I would expect that the fellow maintainer, that was Lena, checked that both work in this case. Yes, it can be parsed differently. Blindly changing that is wrong. That statement is not incorrect. If you blindly change it, you might have something where it breaks. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't change it when you can change it. Was it in this case? Okay, I think so. So why do you complain? Yes, the convention said they are interchangeable methods, but it depends on the arc parser library. Of course, that is correct. It is the same convention that long arguments should start with a double dash, but the GNU find doesn't follow that. So the convention that, yeah, with find it's obvious because Unix find also didn't have that in, or I'm not sure. BSD find, I don't know the that's not a page I wanted to show. Let's check the history of find. Isn't there a history part? Here. Find utils. What do you mean? This can't be a find utils. This can't be a GNU thing. Can it? Where's the history? There is no history in this. Okay. I maybe should log out of that server. Okay. I don't know what the deal with that is, but yeah, GNU is actually fine in that regard. GNU is horrible in some other ways, but yes, I believe it was like the BSD folks that often, I don't fully remember, but for example the X people, I know that like everything related with Xorg does that, like single dash and then long argument. Yeah, and this is also, I believe, this is a typo and shouldn't have a space here. If it's what I assume they mean, because that would make sense. Also, friendly advice: all these tiny changes by maintainers of this project have inflated their contribution stats. Although there is, I think this is supposed to say not. Please check your stuff for typos. This is a good trick. Creates an incentive for junior maintainers to do insignificant nitpicky change in the contribute. Nobody cares about that. Okay, I kind of do. I'm happy when like there was a tweet that I retweeted a while ago that just tweeted out like the top contributors, and I was like number 5, and I was like, oh my god, I'm in the tweet. Nobody actually cares about that. What do you mean? Don't let such ill practice. Okay, that's a somewhat grammatically correct sentence, so I won't complain. No. First of all, nobody cares about that. Second of all, nitpicky changes. What do you mean with nitpicky changes? Many of them are probably good changes. With social media, is it wrong or unjustified? No, nobody said that. It would no. Yeah. Yeah, again, maybe don't whine on Twitter or on Fetty about things that like people are willing to talk to you about. I often do that too, but maybe like a suggestion, don't. Yeah, you're sick of this. Like, I can read that. You're sick of this. But you were sick of it from the first TLDR bot comment because you didn't get it, and I don't want to come off as insulting or offensive, so I will stop saying anything. That Falco commented, do they have pronouns in bio? I don't remember. No, they don't. Okay. You were not asked to strictly capitalize the name, just to ensure the description starts with an uppercase letter. I agree with removing yes. Very nicely and shortly explained. I can't speak. I've invested time and effort again. Time and effort, sure, but maybe don't overplay it. These hiccups did not creep out of nowhere. They came up in our CI pipeline and intended to help contributors make quality contributions. Do you write the same complaints to every other project that doesn't list all linting route enabled in their contribution guide? That's a good question, actually. That's a very good question. Thank you for raising that. I assume the same contributor, I forgot their name. I can't pronounce any of that. They probably, when they contribute to let's say a JavaScript code base, they probably don't complain when some linter tells them that they use some idiom that this repo doesn't use. That's kind of dumb. And oh yeah, I just called some behavior dumb. Very, very unprofessional of me. Yeah. Also, based on your attitude, you need to understand that just because you invested your time in it doesn't automatically mean everyone will appreciate how it was done. Yeah, that is true. Please be aware of that. Although that can come off as kind of a bit hostile, but again, nothing against the Falco here. Yeah, that's very, like, any spite that might be read into that, into any comments from our side, I believe, would be very warranted, given the contributors' attitude. And contributions only valuable if others attribute value to it. This is a nice PR overall, but investing your time in it does not inherently give it value. That is actually, that can be read as anti-Marxist. Jokes aside, that is true. Yeah, if you can put your contribution into just key smashing and submitting it as a PR. That you also put your time and effort into it. That doesn't make it good. Transparency is a big key factor. Out of nowhere paper cut errors. Still, I hate this phrase. That does... What lack of transparency? We try to be as clear as we can and definitely can do better. That's also true. But you got feedback on your PR right away. You're welcome to help us improve our documentation, but disruptively complaining that it isn't a worthwhile investment of your time. What? I misread that sentence. Many open sourcers make reading and contributing to the contribution guide part of the workflow. See the commits on the contributor guide. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it has very few commits. We need to fix some things about that. I guess I would try to push it back to after Hacktoberfest, but I might do it if I have some time on stream between reviewing PRs. I might actually put some effort into it. Also, I need to update the German style guide. That desperately needs an update. I'm very sorry for letting that slide. We used to have one other German contributor, Simon Macher. He's Austrian, but he doesn't do anything anymore. Or they, I think. They don't have pronouns in bio, but whatever. Simon sounds kind of male. Not gonna lie. I think the description is now terrible. Yeah. Please include formal language in the German style guide, but only when users on Windows. That would be really funny. That would be rejected though, and that would be really funny, legit. Yeah, you're supposed to use imperative form, but you're supposed to use formal language if it's in the Windows platform. Or we could put something in the client spec for the client to rephrase it to formal language when you're on Windows. So it's like even for common or other platforms. That would be really funny, actually. I think the description is now terrible. Please consider how people treat you versus how you treat others. Yeah, I don't think that is necessarily too harsh a statement if the description actually is terrible. But again, it's your description just with the latter half removed. When someone gives you PR feedback, that's someone contributing to your page, to your changes. I can't read. You aren't giving other contributors the same respect you expect from them. Insulting other people's work does not help us improve things, at least be constructive. Yeah. Again, I want to point out it's your description. I would have pointed that out in Seth's place. I would have pointed that out again. I think that's almost the last comment. That might be the last comment. That's great. Do something about this ASAP. There is no such thing as ASAP in volunteer-run projects, but contributions are always welcome. Yeah, that's an important thing to point out. We're an open source project. What do you mean ASAP? If nobody has time, nobody's getting paid for this. I think some people have it listed on their GitHub sponsors or something. I might also do like a GitHub sponsors at some point. Why on earth did you even change the URL? It was stated by Lena. Because the page you originally linked to didn't clearly state how to use the command. Yes, that was also mentioned twice before. Projects have inflated their contribution stats. No, it did not. We squash and merge in this repository. Oh! Again, yeah, I wasn't aware, like, I thought they were correct about that point, but apparently they aren't even. I don't know a lot about how that works. I just contribute to TLDR, and some months I was like the second, like the contributor with the second most activity. Sometimes I'm very down there at like spot 10 or something. People should be credited for their contributions, the same as you. That includes if someone contributes to someone's contribution, which is ultimately what everyone here is doing. Nitpicky changes are not something to shame, be it from a maintainer or contributor. This is how we maintain the quality of TLDR pages. I respect everyone who takes time of their day to resolve typos, omit redundant words, or reword sentences. They took the time to think about the user experience of the reader rather than spew text on the screen, which is invaluable. This is actually a pretty nice paragraph, IMO. Yeah. Be nitpicky. Don't be nitpicky, but say, suggest something when you think it can be phrased better. ASAP is kind of rude in many cases. Yeah, an urgency modifier. I don't know when it would be really rude. I guess in this case you could say it because it's, I don't know. But as an urgency modifier, yeah, sure. But this is a volunteer-run open source project. This is like maybe something important to point out. This is a volunteer-run open source project. Of course, there are open source projects, let's say Chromium, that are sponsored by big companies that have teams working on them. I think in volunteer-run projects, it's still weird. It has its uses. Again, as an urgency modifier, yeah, sure. We need to fix that security-relevant bug ASAP, yeah, sure. Sure. I ask kindly that in the future, there's a the missing, you be more compassionate when you communicate with volunteers. Yeah. Very nice comment. Shoutouts, Seth Falco. I think, oh crap, there are things happening IRL right now. I might have to mute for a second at some point. So that's basically, like, we're done with that. Red. That's it. Yeah, I don't think I need to say any closing words on this. We just kind of talked through all of it. This contributor maybe should reconsider how exactly they communicate with maintainers of open source projects. Yeah. Now let's get into the actual what we wanted to do. Oh god, this French. I don't want to review things in languages I do not speak. Oh god, a lot of those translations again. Oh god. We might have fun today. So there's not even something German. Like usually German is like one of the languages. No, there's nothing in German. That's interesting. Let's search for new commands. Yeah, we here we have a few new commands. Let's have a look at a few already have changes requested. Let's have a look at this, this. Dtrace, we don't have a dtrace page, that's odd. That's... Why do you need to do this to us? I hate that already. Jacqueline, why do you need to do this to us? You're a member of TLDR, you know that. We had a thread months ago. I started in October, and the last comment was I think in 1st of January. So yeah, literally a year old by now. I wanted to reply to that. I wanted to give more comments. Yeah. I'm bad at replying sometimes. So yeah, we have a PR for a change for the collision pages. What exactly is your suggestion? Just.js.md? View documentation for the V8 JavaScript. Yeah, this is a fine suggestion. Maybe they... Can you see the pronouns with the... You can't. Maybe they just want to get the Hacktoberfest PRs, which I'm not gonna shame that. Maybe they just came up with the idea now. I don't know. Yeah, I might want to take a look at that, but I don't feel like doing it now. Definitely not. This is a very long discussion. This is something like I need to reply to the original discussion, and I think I will do that off stream because again, it's a long discussion about how to do collision pages, which maybe also could include like a standard kind of for alias pages. Like it could be a new standard that encompasses both alias pages and collisions, and that would be a very interesting precedent. Yeah. So we have here IFS. Okay. Please review and that reads a bit weird. Yeah, you don't need to comment for everything you did. We can see that. Is that referring to the IFS that is... Oh, I'm not sure whether I want to review this page, to be honest. This is an environment variable, and they are suggesting adding an environment variable for... I hate that. I don't know. I do not wish to involve myself in that discussion. No. Not a good idea. Okay, TT add page. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. That's also a good suggestion. Yeah, I guess. Start quote mode with built-in... Yeah, start quote mode with the built-in quote list from English. That sounds better. TT quotes, yeah, that's good. Start TT with no theme, yeah, that looks also good. Yeah, I mean, like, we already have suggestions. I don't think I need to review this. Once they deal with those suggestions, everything's fine. Dtrace, again, I wanted to check. Here, I can show off TLDR. I can't. Because it's broken right now. Because I started working on improving it and I didn't finish it. Fuck. Okay, then we'll do it manually. That's also fine. What did you want to check? Dtrace, right? Yeah. We don't have a dtrace page. That's interesting. Yeah, that's many suggestions already proposed. Why are the other contributors now suddenly so active? Generic front into dtrace facility, blah blah blah. All of that makes sense. All of that is good. Like, I can't. Postconf is an interesting question because I think we had an old PR for that. That's interesting. I think I made like an issue for it. No? Okay. I thought I did something. I did something related to postfix. Might not have been postconf. Might have been the other, postmap and postalias. Why have you already suggested so many things, guys? I don't have anything to do on stream. That's kind of not good. Yeah, we already have... Yeah? What do you mean? Yeah. Why don't the emerging in pro... The check has started. What do you mean the check has started? Wasn't that changed from 12 minutes ago? What did they do? Awaiting approval. Very good. That's actually how it's supposed to work with GitHub when you contribute to some project you haven't contributed to. The first time maintainers need to approve your CI time. Which is, I don't know, kind of nice for GitHub because they don't need to pay for spam PR time. Yeah, also already reviewed, but that's accepted fully. Okay, then I have something to check out. That's nice. That looks like official documentation. Now you can see in real time how I review a PR. And you can shame me for how badly I do it. Run the current cargo package. Sounds good. Not set the working directory of the binary execute. I don't think you need to mention that. Also sets, right? Yeah, this is the official documentation. You can't read it because up front, like this way you can read it. Yeah, we have many options. And here you can't read anything again. That's great. So again, this node is confusing me. Run a specified binary. Run. Yeah, nobody uses it like that though. Like when I use cargo run, I just use cargo run. Like, let's take side note. My Photos app is right one thing left of my terminal. That is not good. Maybe I should change that because I don't want to open my Photos app. Right now I don't think it has anything sensitive, but okay. Let's open a new tab and I can show you something. Let's go into Cluck maybe and into Lambda. I think this works. Yeah, this should work. So I just cargo run and in this case I used cargo R, and then it just I can like I can do like lambda things. It doesn't really matter what the program is doing in this case, but you just type cargo run, and then you run it runs the current package. You don't need options for that. Oh god, I hate this code review thing from GitHub so much. Like what does it run by default though? Run the binary target. Okay, yeah. Run the default binary target. Like the current cargo package, we have it nowhere else specified. I think that's fine. Cargo run. I would insert that there. Yeah. That makes sense. That I assume makes sense. Looks good. Space or comma separate. That's not imperative form. Let's have a look. Oh, that's there. Feature selection. The feature flags allow you to control what features are enabled. Space or comma separated list of features to activate. Yeah. We do have this. I'm not entirely sure whether this applies in this case. We do have the. We do have this. I don't know. What's the proper word for it? It's not a written rule, but it's kind of an unwritten rule to write things as like package 1, package 2, ... something like that. That's how we write it, for example, when you can install multiple packages with the package manager. Here it just says features. Yeah. Activate a space or comma separated list of features. Cargo run features. Again, feature 1, feature 2, ... I would let's write it this way. Disable the default feature of the selected package. What do you mean of the selected packages? I don't understand that. No, oh, it says it right here. Do not activate the default feature of the... What do you mean the selected packages? I didn't select any packages. Activate all available features of the... Yeah, that's the same question. What does selected packages mean here? Here. Because I'm actually not sure. I assume you can somehow select packages. I assume that's the args, right? No, that's in the options. You somehow select package selection. Yeah, you can select packages here. But I think I understand what it's getting at. So since the page doesn't otherwise mention, what's it? Dash package and dash p. Package dash p. Talking about the selected packages seems rather confusing to me. And then we have a suggestion. Okay. Run with a given profile. I think Rust people are gonna know what a profile is. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's a comment. Yeah. Again, this is still confusing to me, and I should have put a note about that in there. I forgot. So if that dealt with this right here. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing with this PR? It looks fine. It looks rather fine. What's the problem with the bot actually? Oh, it doesn't end in a colon, and it does have more than 8 examples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is a bit too many examples. Also, I'm not sure whether we have this. I think we decided against that syntax. I think I remember the name of the issue. Favor or mention, at least mention or something. Sort options? No? I kept the open on there. Is that the title what it was changed to? I don't know. Title change? No. What? Is this what I'm... Yeah. What do you think about suggesting both long and short options for commands like the example below? I think there was also another issue about this. Maybe it was POSIX options. I think I saw something like that. Maybe mention short options. Again, I don't remember what it was called. That's a bit many. That also includes PRs. Is issue. I think that's the way to do it, right? Yeah. Yeah, here. Single letter options. That was it. Okay. Yeah. Here someone else also suggested that. That was a long discussion. I hate that. I don't want to read all of that. Like this right here is a long thread, and the other part is a long thread. Do we have a TLDR for threads? For issue threads? That would be really handy in that case. The guidelines specify. Yes. I remember that example. Yeah, that's how many people upvoted it. Wow. I have to agree with both the original and rationale and your example of it failing. I suggested that syntax that they're using here. I hate myself right now. Why did I do that? Oh no. Yeah, the unwritten rules use yeah. For example, from TLDR git commit, use /m. Are you sure about that? Because that would mean there's an unwritten rule that both you and yeah, okay. You can also because we were before. I was before talking about the that can also be read as rude. How I phrased that, but seriously, also true. I still don't think that this is the perfect solution. We should have a way of including the long form somehow. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, use long flags unless there is a valid reason not to. Yeah, it stops the user from being able to copy directly. Unfortunately, that is a feature we often don't have. I agree with Clean Machine that format is not practical. On the other hand, having 2 lines, as I suggested, may lengthen the page. Both on the same line. That would complicate our syntax a lot. Yeah. That would require changes to clients. We have not adopted that, I can tell you that much. I think it touches a fundamental question. If it is described above the command, what is necessary? Yeah. I see that argument. Perhaps it depends on the purpose of TLDR. Yeah. I mean, for both of them, you can make the same arguments. But yeah. I personally like it for simple commands, but what to do with separation by folders? Yeah. Emily. Miss Emily Graceville, what have you done? You've spelled OSX in the most cursed way ever. Yes, we do have this separation by folders where that's actually not true. Common does include short options usually if there's okay. Yeah, sure. Jonathan, you can one-up it, but that doesn't mean you should. That's your chat message is intentional. This I'm not sure about. So no, in common we tend to put short options. At least that's as far as I know the rule. Linux does have long options because it usually has long options because it's usually GNU. And macOS sometimes does. Like, I'm sorry, but this list is actually not true. Yeah, we do have already this kind of another question: what to prefer, join single letter options or not join? Yeah, that's also an interesting question. I don't think we have a decision on that. We have to mandate TLDR to use one style. Oh, related to. I already have that open. Oh. That's that's hard to do, and I would not suggest we pour our time into that. Let's be real. Like, yeah, this is a similar syntax. Yeah, if we adopt a syntax like this, it would be possible, but that still would require so much changes to clients, and I don't know how familiar you all are with the TLDR client ecosystem. It's horrible. We removed the master branch because we switched to the main branch like 3 years ago, and like 1 year ago or something, we removed the master branch, and some clients are still broken. And we told them half a year before we did it and submitted PRs. I still have a few unmerged, not responded to PRs lying around. If you want to look at my GitHub, like it's the TLDR client ecosystem is horrible. Like getting that change through, that all clients support that kind of thing, I don't think we can. I'll select the solution proposed, and what solution was proposed? That it's highlighted. Bro, are you crazy? That will never get... That will get through. Simon Marcher is a genius. Holy fuck. I actually like that solution. Like, it has its disadvantages, and I'm not sure whether we should adopt it, but I like that solution actually. That's a rather good solution. Yeah, it works with all clients. It doesn't make the example longer. I mean, it does make it longer in the Markdown file, but yeah, and we can just adopt it in new pages when we change pages. That's cool. Like, that's a way to mention the single letter options. Oh my god, we're like through a third of this discussion. I hate my life right now. Why do we need to get through so much discussion just to answer the question of whether this is spec compliant? I think this is not spec compliant, but I don't wanna search through the spec right now. I just wanna read it, what the discussion was. Is a great example as the short options don't match the long options. Yeah. Yeah. We use short options on the page. Yeah, we do have our conventions for how to document short options as well. We often forget, myself very much included. I would say I think it's hard to define what commonly used in general advice. Yeah. That's something also for the previous contributor that said everything should be completely consistent. If it's in the guidelines, it should be in the bot or in the linter, etc. This is something commonly used. You can't put that in a linter. That's like actually impossible. It would need to like search the web and do all kinds of crazy shit. That's not possible. I agree with defaulting to short options and the what? I'm not even sure whether I want to read all of that. Status is closed. This was closed because nobody did anything for a while. Yeah, Emily reopened this. There are standardized rules now. What? We do have standardized rules for that? What? When? We do have we do have rules for that now? Where, in the style guide? I think I saw something about that at some point. Long options. Option syntax. Use GNU style long options like help when they are cross-platform compatible, intended to work the same across multiple platforms. In our cases, yeah, this part could be confusing, and I would rephrase it, but this is at least clear, but this also completely forbids just using short options in these cases. Oh, I hate my life so much. my database was simply not updated. What are you talking about? Yeah, from scratch in another issue, that is very much possible. Why? Also, why did they use British English? What's wrong with them? Yeah. Does Pac-Man currently have... I really want to know that now, actually. My window is very big. Now it has short options. That's literally against our style guide now. To the contributor that complained about us like violating our own rules and stuff. This is what you should complain about. Not us like asking you to change something. Oh god. Yeah, this is a really long discussion. They have forked TLDR to make some modifications. You can put an option format in. This is a really long comment and a lot of work that they did. I appreciate that. Is this person they're the author? I don't think they're like a member or something, right? I don't think they are. That's interesting. Nice. Nice of them to do that. I like this change. Yeah, that repo that never really got anywhere. That we archived. I believe I even archived it. I believe someone asked me whether we should. Yeah, this is something that Emily did on her own, pretty much. Yeah. God, this is such a long discussion. Why? I realized that 2 consecutive lines are shown on the same line and some marked. Yeah. That's an interesting problem that we've not dealt with. For example, let's have a look at a TLDR inspired page. No, not that. This right here uses a bunch of new lines because otherwise GitHub would render everything as one line. I can show you that from within the TLDR repo. Like, GitHub doesn't render TLDR pages as it should. Because in Markdown, 2 consecutive lines may be rendered as one line when there is no... let's take something that exists. That doesn't exist, then let's take AR. AR I know exists. And I'm pretty sure it had, yeah. Here you can see like all of this, these are like 3 lines and they are just put into one. It's breaking here with my Safari, but that's like here. All of that's joined into one line. That's because the Markdown spec says so, kind of. Not really. I mean, Markdown is I mean, what are we even talking about when we're saying Markdown spec? It's Markdown, it doesn't have a spec. Common Mark might have an opinion, GitHub has an opinion. You know what I'm talking about. You can put it's so you can like have your 80 column, your column 80 line breaks, and then still have a normal paragraph in your HTML. Kind of makes sense. But for us, it's not helpful, of course. So, yeah, it's just a render problem. It's we already have this problem. It's not a new problem. Whatever, who cares? I have a few suggestions. Oh, this is getting tiring. Seriously. Do we have something now? This was closed, like unmerged. Closed because of stale. That's great. As far as I know, SBRL is she, her, but great. Which, I mean, is kind of dumb to not have it in the GitHub bio. But I think it's on their website, right? No? I thought that. Then it was on some of their socials. I don't remember. I thought they were she, her, but yeah, assuming gender, always good. Doesn't matter. Yeah, this is like a long thread again, and it didn't get merged. The changes were to add this option format thing. Okay. I will not continue reading this because else I want to kill myself again. Since everything is supported, why do you use short options? Do I need to reload this, or did it reload properly? I think, yeah. Yeah. So, while I actually suggest that the syntax you're using here, we have not yet reached consensus on how to mention. I think they might this page might be completely I won't comment on it right now. I will check later. We have not yet reached a consensus on how to mention short options. Yeah, that's pretty much. That's it. Like, just do with a long option. It's cross-platform, everywhere supported and stuff like that. That's not a problem. That's how it's supposed to be done. I think I don't want to make the embarrassing mistake of not reading things properly, but this is not mentioned in the placeholder syntax. This is that whole infinity and the whole, like, this syntax is also a very interesting discussion. This was a very interesting discussion too. God, I've already been streaming for the last 2 hours, but still haven't really gotten through anything. Yeah, and here I will suggest it too. This is the first. Yeah. Yeah, they can have their workflow run again if they want. Yeah, this is kill me. I don't want to read any more of that. Also, this I will have to deal with at some point. I will close it now. This is a style guide. I'm happy with that. I like that. So, French. What are you doing? I'm sorry, I think this person might not be. Yeah, can you please suggest the fix? Can you like... The fuck? Can't I... I think they might not have the whatever to suggest something. I don't know, actually. I don't know. This PR title is completely... you didn't read our contributor guidelines or whatever. Some document mentions how you're supposed to title a PR. This is not how you... This is also way too many options. Like, this is in a document that you're supposed to read. Either it's in the contributing, yeah. Yeah. Command, type of change. Examples for new page edition. ls add page. For page edit. Fix typo. Blah. This actually, I remember this being significantly different. People have edited it and they haven't made it worse. It's better now, I would say. Yeah, they didn't read that. They're doing something. A lot of French again. Yeah, really. There's not as much happening as maybe there is, but there isn't necessarily as much happening as there used to be. Also, we do have Kebidor and Krishna, who always is like always available and always reviews everything. And when then the authors don't respond within, I don't know, days, there's not a lot for me to do. So what I could do on stream now is finish up this PR from myself, which is still a draft for very good reasons. Because I might go insane while finishing this up. I might go completely insane. Because this is a horrible PR, and I hate the make temp utility. Yeah. As promised in this comment, macOS FreeBSD is a very interesting beast. If I'm reading the man page correctly, -t means something completely different. I also decided to remove mentions of tempdir and /temp because it can't be in common. For example, macOS uses CS Darwin user tempdir, a constr variable that is something like var folders qt some random things t. Having them just in Linux is kind of weird, and I don't think that's what the average user Nutinous command has to care about. I might add a -p example and could include it as a side note there. Yeah, that's that's always a good idea. Make temp, again, very interesting beast, because If we look at it in the changes view, it might be a bit confusing. Also, I can't use TLDR gal right now, which is which makes everything harder. So I might not finish it up right now. But yeah, this is just phrasing. Then, of course, in common we can't have long options. So we have -p. Oh, I need to update my comment because user custom directory, if tempdir is not set, the default is platform dependent, but usually /temp. I can fix my comment because I might add a -p example. I did add one to the comment page, and since I forgot it in that commit, I also added one to the Linux page. So yeah, and the -t is called deprecated tempdir in the GNU implementation. That's always fun. So I think I included it. I didn't closely pay attention. I'm sorry. I added a -p example and added as a side note. And in the -p example here, which is, I think this. I need to look that up. Fortunately, the link is right here. And that website is horrible. This is what the auto-opts GNU page looks like. That's not what I'm used to seeing for GNU documentation pages, but sure. Make temp has -p. Yeah, great. That's also deprecated, funnily. Yeah, dash is tempdir. That's what it means. It will use tempdir. Otherwise, it will use home temp or /temp. So defaults to /temp is even incorrect. That's great. That's very fun. I made a mistake. User custom directory defaults to /temp. That's not correct. I mean, if this option is not provided, make temp will use tempdir. So it's even that is inconsistent. Because the OpenBSD implementation, tempdir always takes precedence over the -p, and in the GNU version, -p takes priority. Wow, much consistency, much Unix. I hate this. I hate this so much. The defaults to do I write that with a dollar? I think tempdir. Or I might have decided not to include that because like nobody cares. Tempdir's never set, but yeah. I don't know if there's like a better way to indicate the precedence there, but I think like just defaults to tempdir or /temp, I think is an okay way to specify that, like which takes precedence. I think that's kind of clear. So I think I can like mention tempdir in the -p example. I don't even need these fancy commit messages because like who cares? It gets squashed. It gets squashed anyways. But whatever. Yeah, I wanted to write a macOS and FreeBSD page. That will be very fun because I I mean, which sources do we have? Make temp. We do have this one right here. This is always out of date, this site, but it works. It's from... Doesn't say it. And we do have these Xcode man pages from this person. This man... Are you kidding me? You can't read this because I'm there, but... First of all, Mac OS 10.12. That is wrong in every way. I'm used to that from Apple. They spell their own operating system name wrong sometimes in man pages. You can still... I'm pretty sure you can also see Mac OS 10.14 or something in the news. Where it's just they sometimes don't update man pages and then it says Mac OS 10 and then the version number. That's just kind of funny because Apple tend to actually get it correct. Like they tend to say like Mac OS 10 Mountain Lion and OS 10 Sierra and Mac OS. I think Sierra was already Mac OS. I don't remember. Mac OS Mojave or something. First appeared in OpenBSD, yes. The implementation was written independently based on the man page and first appeared in FreeBSD. This man page is taken from OpenBSD. I've never seen this level of BSD fuckery. Like seriously, what is this? So, and now I want to get into the issue. First of all, this page has 4 options. This page has 5 options. That's great. UTQD. UTQDP. Is a P missing? The P used to be missing. And now they added it. In this version from 2005. Are you already maybe getting how horrible this is? I can look at the current man page here on my system. I'm running macOS 14. First of all, my terminal resized itself again. And I might wanna, after resizing it, make the... Here it says macOS 14.0 at least. It's from August the 4th, 2022, so they actually changed something. The question is what? I might have to run a diff against the old version. This also contains 5 options. Again, I don't know what they changed on it. I don't know, I don't really see the differences. I could copy paste in like diff or something. Yeah, -p. Use the specified directory for the -t flag if the tempdir environment variable is not set. So this is the OpenBSD behavior of tempdir takes precedence over -p. This is not the GNU behavior. This is the OpenBSD common behavior. Additionally, any provided template arguments will be interpreted relative to the path specified as yeah. What do you mean additionally? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think the behavior of -t might also be non-static, but I don't remember. If tempdir is, or as the provided directory is either empty or omitted, then you can omit it. How? Then the tempdir environment variable, it will be used either way. Are you kidding me? If this environment variable is not set, it will use the argument. If the argument is omitted, it will use the environment variable. Yeah, that's what I assumed. What the hell? Okay, maybe this description can clear it up. The makeTemp utility takes blah blah blah. That all of this is unimportant. Yeah. If the -t prefix option is given, makeTemp will generate a template string based on the prefix and the tempdir configuration variable if available. Yeah. Fallback location if it's not. Here, again, this conf string thingy takes precedence over tempdir. So maybe -p, if used without an argument, makes tempdir environment variable take precedence over this CS-Darwin conf string thingy. That's so fucked up. The -p options, tempdir. What? Yeah? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Care should be taken to ensure that it is appropriate to use an environment variable potentially is applied by the user. Yeah, sure. You don't need to note that. Everyone should know that. If no arguments are passed, or if only the -d flag is... what? If no arguments are passed... -t... Okay, that makes sense, actually. It takes a prefix. But I think that is also inconsistent with all other implementations. I'm not exactly sure. I need to read through the documentation of the other implementation, or maybe the examples. Use a custom file implementer. Apparently, the macOS and FreeBSD version, when you give it a prefix, yeah, this gives a prefix, not a template. I think this is also inconsistent, like a custom file name template. That's correct. But these X's that you need to put in for the other versions, I don't think you need to do that with the FreeBSD version. Can I zoom in one more? No, I can't. I hope you can read that. Generate a path rooted in a temporary directory. The directory is chosen as follows. That we understand that. The template should be a what? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. But if I understand this correctly, you need to, as I gave in this example, give the access here. You need to give it the access to generate its random things into. And with the FreeBSD macOS version, you don't. You just give it a prefix, generate a template using the prefix, and it has some examples. That's even better. Yeah, for example, here, tempfoo, it takes the name of the program. Like $0 is like argv0 and C. It just takes like how you invoke the program, and base name is the file name basically. So, for example, if you're calling like user bin sh and you I mean, sh is a bad example, but user bin tool, this just sets tempfoo to tool. And then it generates with the template tool, for example. This doesn't contain access. I think this behavior is inconsistent. I'm not sure. I can test it for macOS. Which maketemp am I using? The system provided one? No, I'm not. I'm using Coriutils. This is the GNU version. Note that the GNU version requires you to specify access. User bin maketemp, on the other hand, doesn't. Inconsistency spotted. That's great. Oh my god. And I assume it's like the OpenBSD, like how it's phrased, it does require the access. I assume, yeah. Also here it says like example.access, so I assume it needs the access. I don't have an OpenBSD test machine right now, and I don't think I could like easily set up a VM. So we will just have to trust them on this one. That's not even the worst part yet, I think. That's pretty bad, but that's not the worst part. Maybe I need to start writing this down. Seriously, this is horrible. So yeah, operate in unsafe mode. Why is this U dry run unsafe? I don't think they entirely understand what the word dry run is supposed to mean. Because this sounds like it creates a temp file and then deletes it, basically. I think unlink is like the technical term for like in Unix file systems to remove a file. So basically, they create a temporary file and then remove it with this -u or dry run option. That's not a dry run. First of all, dry run is usually -n, but dry run means don't do anything, just print to the standard out or standard error or whatever what you would do. So this is wrong again in every way. Is that also the case for Open? Yeah, it is. The fact that it's just called unsafe mode here and not dry run makes it a bit better. But why does this have dry run then? Why do some of these have long options and some other not? I really am confused. Oh god, I wish so much TLDR was okay right now. I think I might want to go into yeah, I have some changes here. I made some of them on stream, I made some of them off stream. And I might just have to create a new branch. TLDR git branch. There's some way. I think it was git checkout. Yeah. GCK. Better CLI. Start improving the CLI. Okay, and now I can use the old version of TLDR. That's great. Yeah. For example, I can update from upstream, and now I have all the last changes that we just merged and stuff. And now what I can do is I can that's something where TLDR is not yet suited. It's for deriving a new page off of an old page. That's something that TLDR cannot yet do. So I will just raw edit make temp. The question is, yeah, I want to merge that. Yeah, okay, it merged it already. I was kind of confused by the output there. Yeah, okay. I think I want to copy. Let's say I want to copy pages. Common make temp pages OSX, and then let's edit that. Yeah, the more information link, I'm not entirely sure. I think it needs to, like, the SS64 is just not current. It's not up to date. It missed one option. This is the up to date one. It's not fully up to date again. I just saw mine being edited in 2022, but this is the most current we can get. The owner of that repo, that repo that we're sometimes drawing from, I need to get in touch with them to... That's nice documentation, actually. I need to get in touch with them maybe to get this a bit more up to date. Although they seem to try to get it up to date, the make temp is not up to date with what mine says at least. But it could be because this RC1 of Xcode 15. Xcode 15 is now out. Xcode 15 has now been released. So maybe that's the issue. Okay. Create an empty temporary file and print its absolute path. That's always true. Okay. That -p option is already... I'm already getting... my mind is already hurting. That's what I'm trying to say, basically. My mind is already hurting from -p, and that's not even the worst yet. So we can call it --temp deal. So, okay. Use temp for the -t flag if the environment variable is not set. That part with leaving out the argument, again, I don't get how that's even supposed to work. It says equals here, but I assume it just works. That would be really weird. That would actually be possible, but that would be really effing weird. Okay, not that. That would be really effing weird. What? What? Do you need to put it like that? What? You actually need to. This is an You can't be fucking... And that might have been the GNU version. I completely misspelled the help thing. That's the GNU version. So I think I have an error in my GNU version. Oh shit. You need to put the equals in. Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, wow. That's bad. Okay, uses temp there for -t. -t is generated temp. Yeah, additionally, any provided template arguments will be interpreted relative to the path specific. Template arguments, I think, are just the normal arguments, right? Yeah, this right here. And the other is the prefix. So basically, we set this as the temp dir that everything is relative to. And we need it with an equals, and I think I need to change that in the Linux page too, because... Oh god. Really, I think at TLDR we need a way of checking whether equals is required or not. Use a custom path template. I think that's just simple. I need to make sure I use user bin make temp. Or I could just set my path, but I won't. So that's just how it's supposed to work. It works like that. That's great. That's great. So that works. Like the description for this, I think I need to put a to-do wherever we need to still change things. This is good. This needs a to-do, this needs a to-do. Yeah. Okay, so like this is good. That's great. To know that at least. Use a custom file name template. That's already where we're running into trouble, because I'm not even sure Yeah, okay, that was expected. Yeah, if we put X's in there, they just get included. Holy crap. I think someone will suggest we add examples of what could be generated. But I'm not entirely sure myself whether we should add examples, so I will not add some now, but yeah, might have to later. So yeah, that's good and all. Create an empty temporary directory and print it substitute. Like just /-d. Make a directory instead of a file. That's good if used by itself. Otherwise, I think we would have a problem. Yeah, I think that is good and all. I think that makes sense still. I need to test all of that later. And then the custom directory question. That is a, oh, and we might have long options. Directory. Yes, we do have long options. We do have a long option. Okay. Okay. So then this question right here. Use a custom directory if temp dir is not set. The default is platform dependent, but usually /temp. That is not true. Did I mention it here, how to get it? Is it called this? I don't think it is. No, it isn't. Conf get conf, I believe, is the command. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I might need to. The default can be obtained with, I guess, with this. Oh god, I had that. Okay, so how does it default now? It uses the temp dir if the temp dir environment variable is not set. I mean, you can just try it out. I don't need to read documentation if I just set temp dir to, let's say, var temp, and then I just generate a temporary file, and it ignores my request. That's great! What's wrong with you people? Does that work with GNU make temp? Because it does. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. I hate my life right now. That's not fun. Oh god. Okay. And when I specify -p, it uses it. And when I leave out the argument, like this, then it uses it anyway. And when I specify it, it overrides that. Is that specified? Is that the intent, the behavior that's in the man page? Yes. Are you fucking kidding me again? Fortunately, we don't need to document this. Fortunately, we can just kind of cop out and gesture at it. because in this case we're using the template thing, so we don't need to talk about what would happen if we would have dash t. Which is a nice cop-out. So so basically it uses it by default. It uses it. It just uses it, period. And the dash temp defaults to the output of form /tab. I hate that so much. So that if tempdir is not set, doesn't apply there if we don't specify -p. No, if we specify -p to a specified thing. If we don't have -t, -p always works, as we can see here. That's cool. I think that's how to do it correctly. I think that's an actual correct version of this. I hate my life. And now we can also edit make temp on Linux and check all of those behaviors, because I have a make temp that is core utils, so it's the same as Linux, and therefore I can just check which things work and which don't. This, for example, doesn't use a... Okay. So what did I just try? If tempdir is set by default, it uses it. That does matter. That does matter what it defaults to. This defaults to tempdir. So it defaults to tempdir or otherwise /temp. Are you sure about that? Because it doesn't. Do I have a tempdir? I don't, do I? Oh, I do. Maybe I should... Okay. That's correct, actually. Okay, then that's fine. Okay, we're on the right track. Those statements seem to be correct. Then the custom path template, that works for everything. That just works always. That's great. Then the deprecated thing with the custom file name template, that's -t, I believe. That's... Are you fucking kidding me? That option doesn't exist anymore, or what? What? The documentation says... Where do I have the documentation? The documentation says... I still don't get this, why this autogen thing looks differently, but... it says that -t is also called deprecated tempdir. Did that change or what? Oh god, I hate everything about this so much. Again, I've already said that. I'm sorry for repeating myself. Those are examples. I would like a documentation, please. Oh, this is a documentation. Temp dir. You can run it without an argument, and then it does also do things. The deprecated part doesn't exist. Who put it in the autogen documentation thing then? What? Okay, so that's great, I guess. So the documentation I put in here is incorrect. That's great. Create an empty with the given suffix. I hope that works. That's GNU specific behavior. That should work. That does work, in fact. That's cool. And the directory part does work. I'm very sure about that. I didn't even check that for the other one. Yeah, that's the directory. Okay, so that works. That's cool. I think fix errors. I don't know how to describe this better. So I think all of these pages are not correct. I think. That's a big point. I think all of these are not correct. I don't know. The bot added a new command. It's not no new command. I wouldn't say it's new command. It's not new command, actually. I would remove that. So what did we change? Let's have a look at it again, and then maybe I can submit the PR, because I would like that to finally be fixed and done and dealt with and everything. And then maybe we're already almost at like 3-hour mark, so we might just call it quits after that. So make temp is now the OpenBSD page, because that's what it is. Yeah, use a custom directory. If temp dir is not set, the default is platform dependent, but usually /temp. That's kind of true. Make temp -p is, yeah, use a custom path template, use a custom file name template, create an empty temporary directory, and print it self-slipper. That all of that works out. Linux. We did already have one with that autogen thing. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. I'm really getting a headache by now. I'm really we need to get this done, and then I will stop streaming, because yeah. So create an empty temporary file, and print it to the path. It's not guaranteed that it's /temp, but it usually is. It might be temp dir. It defaults to that. So create a temporary user custom. Yeah, this is an example of before I mentioned that it's not entirely consistent whether we in an example description write everything that the command does, or just what changed compared to the previous one. And this is an example of user custom directory. We create an empty temporary file and print its absolute path, and use a custom directory in doing so. That's, yeah, again, that's we aren't entirely consistent on that. In this case, I just wanted to leave it out because it would be such a long example description, and you can just read the entire page. It's TLDR page, seriously. Use a custom path template, access replaced. Use a custom file name template. Sure, create an empty temporary file. with the given suffix and prints absolute. This is like a repetition. If here I could have also left it out. Yeah. Maybe I should do that. But maybe I also shouldn't, because that makes it a bit more clear. And I feel that makes it a bit more clear. Then new macOS page. Create a temporary file directory. More information at the key Xcode mount pages. Xcode, right? Apple's American. Create an empty temporary file and print its absolute path. Use a custom directory. Defaults to this thing or /temp. That's what's in the documentation. The or part, I think I wanted to put a comma in there too. That's actually kind of a serial comma. Is it a serial comma? I think. I'm not sure. Let's call it a serial comma. It doesn't matter. The commit messages for the individual changes don't matter. We squash anyways. So yeah. I checked that. It's just the comma is missing. Okay, the comma's there now. Create an empty temporary file and print its absolute path. Use a custom directory, defaults to the output of getConf thing or /temp. That's what's in the documentation, and I don't have any reason to doubt that. I don't think I can unset like those conf_stir variables. I don't know where exactly they're set, but I think I would need to tear my entire macOS apart to unset those, so I won't. Use a custom path template. Yeah, again, that's consistent across everything. Use a custom file name prefix. Yes, that's inconsistent with the other implementations. Create an empty temporary directory and print its absolute path. Sure. I think we're done. I think this is ready for review. I disagree with this being a new command, but sure it is. Sure. It's ready for review now. It's not ready for review because of the comment. Yeah. I don't know. There are many inconsistencies between the... Do I have... Yeah, I do have. Okay, that's good. If I make typos, I want to see them. There are many inconsistencies between the different platforms. But I triple checked, or I checked everything multiple times against docs and implementations, and this seems to be correct. Yeah. That's completely unnecessary, that comment. Documented versions are common. OpenBSD, I don't know. Linux is GNU core utils the latest. What's my... That's the man page of... I don't know. I don't know what my core utils version is. Blue info core utils maybe? 9.4. Okay. OS X, macOS, I think 12 to 14. I might want to add a paragraph break, and I might want to check what this version is. OpenBSD current, I don't know. I don't know when they last changed it. I don't know what changes there were. Let's just assume that all of this is okay. Yeah, I think I might have poured enough of my time into this by now. So that was fun. We now have this pull request after 3 weeks ready for review. That's cool. So I would have other things to do, and I'm pretty sure the one person at least responded now. I won't deal with that right now. I'm exhausted. I'm kind of, I have like half a headache, and I'm not I'm not able to perform further TLDR work for now. I will do that later, at some later point. I don't know when. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Who knows? But for now, I want to say after almost 3 hours that this stream is over. And bye. And that's for... Oh, yeah, Jonathan said it was a pleasant stream. Thanks. Bye to the recording too.